What is happening, people? You're back for another dose of Delboy this week, and today we are in the know with the obsession, Riley Andrews. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing really good, thanks. Pretty tired, nothing for Sunday, but yeah, this is what I've been looking forward to all week, actually.
No, I've been looking forward to this as well. I remember even when you DM'd me as well, I didn't even realize you was a wrestler. It's only when I saw your pinned tweet, and there's this sick move that you did. Like, you came in the ring. I think was it a rumble or like a battle royal?
Yeah, that was actually, funnily enough, my debut.
Oh shit!
That was when Riley Andrews was born.
Oh shit! And we're gonna have a clip of it anyways. But
well nervous.
Oh, I can only imagine. I was proper sick. Like, you came in the ring, done the Hurricane Rana, then you done this like cartwheel tornado DDT, and I've never seen something like that before.
That is legit one of my signature moves that I've never really seen anyone else do. And I just literally did it once in training. I was like, hey, I want to try this. I did it, and my coaches popped for it so much.
Yeah.
They were like, use it. So in the Rumble, my coaches were running the Rumble, because basically you got all your main guys in the Rumble that people know, and then you got like us trainees who are literally just like make a debut. Nobody knows who the hell we are, and my coach just comes up to me and says, "You literally have 2 moves to do." I was like, let's use it.
Yeah.
So I asked someone who was already out before me. His name is Ritmo, also goes by Tom Hawley. Great wrestler. He does this lucha pirate gimmick.
Okay.
Like he's like basically just like a lucha Jack Sparrow. And I was like to him, I was like, yo, I want to do this move. Do you think you can do it? And when I told him the move, he was like, perfect, let's do it. So when I did that move, I got like a really big pop, and I was just like,
I can only imagine.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. 'Cause even when I saw it, because you sent me the DM, I just went on your page and I saw it, and I was thinking, shit, you should have sent me this because this is sick. You know what I'm saying? And obviously we got to talking, and here we are now. Honestly. So before we even get into like the proper interview, I'd like to do a bit of a icebreaker, just so people can kind of get to know you, who you are as a person. So today's icebreaker is, I want you to more or less talk about your least favorite job experience that you've had.
My least favorite job experience?
Yeah. It doesn't have nothing to do with wrestling, just outside of wrestling, what is the worst job that you've had, and how was that? What was the experience?
Oh, I used to work at a bar. I was like a glass collector, bottle collector.
Yeah.
And this is something that we like to call travelers season, which is where basically it was one night where like a literal fight broke out, and obviously I was like 17 at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm just there collecting glasses, and then like all I see are like people bottling each other. And it's like, I ran to the back of that bar and I literally hid. I was like verge of sobbing.
Yeah.
And like, obviously there's 2 bars. There's a main bar, then there's the back bar. Nobody on the back bar could see what was going on. So there's one of my co-workers like seeing me on the verge of sobbing in a bar, and she's like, "You on about?" She goes round the corner, and a literal glass is being thrown at the bar. And then literally that was literally the last time I ever worked there.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not happy. I was like, no, ma'am, no, thank you.
Oh, boy, I was expecting something like an angry customer just swore you down or something like that. But an actual Royal Rumble in a bar, that's actually
literally
that's actually crazy. So I want to get
surrounded by violence.
That's crazy, man. So I wanted to get to know more about your journey in wrestling. So obviously how long have you been watching? I'm guessing you've been watching wrestling from as a kid.
I'm 17 now. I'm almost 18, and I had my first training session when I was about 9 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flipping no, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. My introduction to wrestling is very family based.
Okay.
I don't come from a wrestling family. My dad was very much involved in wrestling,
Okay.
and I'll be honest with you. At first, I did not like wrestling at
Oh,
all.
really?
Like, I only understood the violent side to it, and I was just like completely turned off by it. Like, probably because my dad would only watch like Undertaker versus Kane, and I was terrified of both of them. So I would not watch it. Then when I got to be more involved with it, like I would go to ring setups with my dad because he was like, um, he didn't own a promotion. He was like a left-hand man from my former promoter.
Okay.
So I would just go because, it was a it was actually a bonding experience for me and my dad. Like, pretty much, like, before wrestling, I didn't really have much in common with my dad. He
Yeah.
likes football, hate it. Um, and then there was wrestling. So I think I went to my first show when I was about 8 years old. Um, and the part where I really wanted to get involved is where I saw my coach in a match, like my coach today.
Yeah.
So when I saw him, he did this like face painted gimmick. He called himself the Chameleon, and he was like a much smaller, very skinnier, without the tattoos version of Jeff Hardy.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really like Jeff Hardy. So, he did the Twist of Fate, he did the Swanton, and when I saw that, I was like, if he's that small and that skinny, and he can do that, then I want to do it as well. Because I got to see the theatrical side to it, and I'm very much into my theatre and drama.
Yeah.
So that was when I really wanted to do it. And then straight off the bat, 9 years old, put into training. And then almost 9 years later, I'm here.
Yeah. How was it training at such a young age? I can imagine
I
that's not a norm. I would say I wouldn't like. I mean, maybe in that if you come from wrestling family, well, you more or less do. But majority of people I know, they end up starting to learn from between ages 16 to 18 and upwards. So how was it training at such a young age?
Well, the thing is, with my training academy, they actually had a lot of kids who wanted to do it. So they
Okay,
kind of
that's
did
right.
like a kid. So they kind of did like an underage kids crash course, if you
Okay, yeah, that
will.
makes sense.
So they only let the youngers with the youngers, and then as soon as you get to about, I think it was about 14, I got to when I was actually put with the more bigger group, and I think I felt like I fit in quite perfectly.
Yeah,
And, you know, now these last couple of years, I've been on shows regularly, working with the trainees, working with, the regulars on the show, or if my promoter brought someone in from another promotion and they didn't have anyone to work with, they would put either me or my friend Declan with did you watch the tag match that I sent you?
yeah, I watched them. Yeah,
Yeah, my tag team partner Declan, me and him, we were the only two trainees on shows. So, we were facing each other every now and again, then we
yeah,
got put into a team. So, you know, these last couple of years I've been on shows, I've been one of the only trainees on shows. And then, it kind of got to a point where I wasn't considered a trainee anymore.
yeah,
So, every time my boss would post, "Oh, we're doing this show here and then, who wants to do it?" I would immediately comment, "Put me in it."
yeah.
And I did that for every show. And that kind of bit me back in the arse because now my body hurts everywhere. Like, even after not wrestling for so long, my body still
Still
hurt.
hurts. Yeah, I could imagine. I was even going to ask, how was it? Well, when it was it at 9 years old you took your first bump, or was it when you got to like the older sessions?
We would bump, but they would be on these like little crash
Crash
mats, if you
mats,
know what I'm
yeah,
on about.
yeah.
So, we didn't feel a thing.
Do you remember how it when
Um,
you?
and then
Oh, sorry, go on.
And then, yeah, when I got to working with the older group, it was the thinner crash mats. And that's when the game changed completely.
That's crazy. So, and you had your debut in the Rumble. How was it feeling after that? Because as much it was only 2 moves that you put in, but it's still a moment, especially when you've come in, you're agile as you are, you've done a move that, you know, it's never been seen before. I'm sure that's kind of like made people a bit like, oh, who's this person? And then it's kind of built anticipation for them wanting to see you. So how was the response from it after you'd had that moment?
I remember it quite like vividly in my head. I was in the Rumble for about, I want to say, best part of 5 minutes. That's all you get really as
Yeah.
a trainee. 5 minutes. Normally it's in and out. But I remember my elimination. So I'm firing up on this dude. I turn around and my mate catches me by the throat and he's just like, just go with it. So he throws me off to the ropes. So I bounce off the ropes. He pops me up and full on spine busters me. I was not expecting it. and and that wasn't a sell, that was real.
Yeah.
That was a real reaction for me. I was like, just throw me out already. So I think I got quite good reaction from the crowd. I was quite like a feisty, mouthy little twat who could, fly about. And then I just remember like going backstage and running to the toilet because I needed to throw up because I was so nervous. Yeah. But because that that was probably like that show that I was on, that was like our main show. That's like our Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And like on other shows, like live shows, house shows, and that's what I was doing beforehand. But I was doing like little matches. I wasn't really doing a lot. So when I was doing that Rumble, it was kind of like, oh, okay, this is it now.
Yeah.
So thrown right into the deep end. And then from there, I was on every single show for the past 2 years.
Yeah. That is proper sick. I wanted to get into more of like a wrestling style. So even from the matches I've seen, it's like a mix of the high flying style, but then you could strike hard if you wanted to. Like I've seen some of the kicks that you've dished out, and I'm just like, yeah, this isn't someone like looks can be deceiving. Like you're quite of like a slimmer frame, but you could go to toe if you wanted to do a striking battle with someone. Like who are people that growing up have probably inspired you to kind of have this mesh of styles?
Oh, a lot of people have inspired me, and some of them aren't even like wrestling related.
Yeah.
The high flying comes from gymnastics and dance when I was a kid.
Okay.
I was very much into my gymnastics and dance. So that's where all the flips come in. My striking style, that's probably from like just watching various wrestling over the last couple of years. Like kicks in general come from Dakota Kai. I'm very, very invested in Dakota Kai.
She's a problem.
People like Io Shirai, Rey Mysterio, do you remember the original Sin Cara that would just botch all the time?
Oh yeah, he was good, but in terms of WWE, he was shit.
Yeah. I used to watch him when he was doing like Japan and Mexico. I didn't watch him in WWE because it was just really hard to watch.
Yeah.
People like that inspired me a lot. Another thing as well, my dad wasn't a wrestler, so he was very much a good inspiration for me because it was like this guy introduced me to this amazing world.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of want to like keep him close to here when I wrestle.
Yeah.
Because this is, like I said earlier, this is our bonding experience. This is the way we connect.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like I said, it's very much family based for me.
Yeah. No, that's honestly sick. Proper. Let's talk about the obsession. Your character, like what?
Yes.
How would you describe your character?
Um, the obsession actually comes from like when I was in secondary school. Everyone knew me as the the gay wrestler. Everyone knew me as that.
Yeah,
Nobody ever knew me as anything else, and it became an obsession to people. People would always make a joke about wrestling, make a joke
yeah,
about me being gay. It just became a laughable joke to me, and it was kind of like it never really bothered me
yeah,
because you know, like I'm a very sensitive person, but it like those things never really bothered me.
yeah,
So when people were like so obsessed with the fact that I was a wrestler, and then it was just kind of like I don't really have anything in wrestling. I don't have like a nickname. I don't really have this gimmick or shtick that I do. So I just thought, let's go with this obsession gimmick. And then obviously you can tell by how I call myself the obsession that I'm full of myself. I'm sassy. But at the same time, I don't mind kicking your two front teeth out.
how it should be.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it was even
Like,
one of the videos I was watching, and you were doing your entrance, and you were kind of like heckling back at the crowd, and you stood on a rope, and you've asked the referee to come and pull down the middle rope for you. And as he's done it, you've jumped down and walked around the ring and went up the top rope. I said, this guy is a prick. I said to myself, I'd hate to be that referee because, wait, what? I've traveled all this way. I'm not even meant to be doing this. I've assisted you, opened the ring rope for you, and you just went down and just went round. And I said, you know what? That's the makings of a great heel. Like you need, like just being able to do, because I've never really seen that before. I've seen, calling over the referee and getting them to, pull down the middle rope for you, but to actually just jump down and say, "Nah, sod this, I'm going round and doing my." I said to him, I was like, "Yeah, that's sick."
I tried to do that spot in many different ways. One time I did it where I told the ref to pull the ropes down for me. I went through, but then I went out on the other side of the ring. I was just like, like I tried to pull off that spot in so many different ways because it just gets a reaction of the crowd. It gets a reaction off the referee.
Yeah.
And for me, face or heel, you get a reaction, you're doing your job right.
Yeah.
And that got me a reaction, like even from you, and you weren't even at the show.
Yeah, I was
so
just
it's just
thinking
like
to myself,
if I can get a reaction, someone watching a video or they're live, then I think I'm doing okay.
yeah,
I'm not
no,
great,
honestly.
but I'm doing okay.
Yeah, and I think things like that just are able to like sow the seeds for like just showing someone like, oh, this person has what it takes to even get to the next level. And it just helps for great storytelling as well, because you could potentially like, even with like in PWG a few years ago, the Young Bucks used to always have this like kind of feud with Rick Knox, where they'd always super kick him. So even if in future you wanted to have like a potential feud with a referee and he's sick and tired of being treated like a prick, he comes to get the middle rope for you. There could be one time where, you've walked through the middle rope and you two are arguing, he could just kick the middle rope, and it's like the storytelling ability from that is just amazing. Like you can do so much with it.
I actually have a very interesting like rivalry already with that referee because he has refereed my matches. I'm on a live show. On a live show we would do like 2 shows a day. First show he refereed my match against, I can't even remember, and then the second show he was my tag partner.
Yeah.
First show I was heel, but in the tag I had to be like a neutral wrestler because he was a face, and then I just turned on him. And then at the show I'm telling him to hold the ropes down, and I'm just, nah, bugger off.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, he's a trainee as well. Like he wanted to have a match with him because he was just so good. But then obviously I left my promotion.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen in the near future.
Yeah.
However, Matt Malone, that is his name. Yeah, that's it really. That's all I have to say about Matty. He's just so good, but he never got an opportunity.
Yeah. I guess that's just the business, isn't it?
Yeah. However, since leaving, so like that's another thing as well. Like I don't work for that company for loads of reasons.
Yeah.
Speaking out, And like generally, like, you know, I didn't have like the best ending when I left my promotion.
Yeah.
It got to a point where it's like, you know what, I just don't think it's like healthy for me to be here. Like, you know, I didn't get on with one person.
Yeah.
You know, every time we'd have every time I had a match with said person, I'd get stiffed
Yeah.
majorly, which is why I had to grow such a hard hitting style. Because before that, I wasn't really doing anything hard hitting, and it just got to
Yeah.
a point where I had a singles match, and my mate come to me backstage. And I said, "You know, if he stiffs you, you stiff him back."
Yeah.
That's how I've kind of grown to have such a hard hitting style. Which is, I guess, like before that, I didn't. I was so nervous as a wrestler. Like, I'd be nervous just to do a clothesline to someone, and then it just got to a point where it's like, you know what? If I'm gonna get hit this hard by this person, I'm gonna have to start
Dishing it back.
handing out receipts. And then, yeah, like I don't think my promoter as well necessarily rated me.
Yeah.
I was the only LGBTQ identified wrestler in that promotion,
Yeah.
and I was kind of just put into that shtick of like, you're gay, you're a wrestler, go out and do whatever gay wrestlers do. Like
Yeah.
on the cards, it'd be like, oh yeah, amplify the gay character, and it's just like, that's not what I'm trying to go for.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want someone to see me as a gay wrestler. I want people to see me as a wrestler. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like that's how I want it to be, but it was never that way.
Yeah.
So I would kind of had to like bite my tongue and do it like all last year. But it was never my boss who put me with the title. It was my coach, because
Yeah.
it was our academy title. My coach came up to me and said, he doesn't want you to have the belt, but I do, so you're going to win it at our academy show. I win it, and then for the next 5 shows, and this is no detriment. This is no, like, Declan, who I was facing at the time. I always defended my title against Declan. I never defended it against anyone else. Like,
Yeah.
there were people like Matty who should have got it, my friend Josh who should have got a shot at it, but they never. It was always Declan. And then it was a live show where I lost it, and it was given back to Declan because it was his birthday. And that's not me like saying, oh, Declan got this, Declan got that. It's like me saying my promoter didn't really rate me.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't think I could run with it when I was doing so well.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, you get that rematch after you lose the title. There was nothing really there.
Yeah.
And then I guess it was kind of like, after that, I was kind of just thrown into jobber matches just to put people over. Like that one where I took the butterfly pile driver.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just to put his nephew over because he was injured.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't mind doing that, but it just became like a regular occurrence.
Thing, yeah.
Like in my last match with them early in February, I was like training week after week after week. Sometimes I wouldn't be even training myself. I'd be training the young because there was not enough coaches there, and I was the most experienced. So it was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll teach them this week. You know, sometimes, and like it was just a case of like I was training over and over and over again and trying to prove, no, I can entertain a crowd. Declan was supporting so much. I was like, yeah, go out to different promotions, go out to different training schools and learn something new, bring it back here, which is what he was doing.
Yeah.
But there's this rule, which obviously didn't apply to everyone, that you have to train with us if you want to get on a show.
Yeah.
That was always the rule. That was like rule number one. Rule number one, turn up to training to get on a show. Rule number 2, turn up to training after you've had a match.
Yeah.
Don't just have a match and then go. That was the golden rules. And I applied to them like 90% of the time. Like, obviously after a match you feel sore, but like So
Still
sometimes
went.
I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
However, 9 times out of 10, I'd never on off show back. Don't just I just have a jobber match. Like I'm just putting someone over. Declan had a singles match and then had a tag match, and I'm just sitting here like, I mean, Declan is working hard, but I'm working hard for you.
Yeah.
You know, he's out doing his own thing. I'm actually spending all of my time for you. And like, I wasn't necessarily saying, give me something more. It was just that I want to be appreciated more.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't just want to be given, you know, I just don't want to be like losing all the time just because you like at the end of the day, he just saw my sexuality as inferior to most people backstage.
Yeah.
And like, that's the point I'm trying to get across. Yes, I'm built like a praying mantis. Yeah, I don't like I don't like girls like everyone else does.
Yeah.
However, I've proven time I can run with these people, and it just got to a point where it's like, you know, I'm not going to get myself upset over it.
Yeah.
Like, so I started like handing my name out to different promotions, and like some of these people I'm friends with, like and then Pride Pro has just been announced a few months ago. If you saw that,
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
I saw the announcement for it, and I literally just burst into tears. I was just like, thank God something like this is happening.
Yeah.
Because let's just say, like, a few years ago, this would have just been a thought, not even an idea that's being produced.
Yeah.
And then like so far I'm not on it. However, they know that people like me, because for me, when I was younger, I didn't really have anyone like that.
Yeah.
I didn't really
Exactly.
have anyone like that. Like, the fact that Darren Young was gay, that was like something I actually didn't know
Yeah. I don't think anyone
until you
knew.
like read things on like social media. Yeah, you only see that thing if you look for it on social media. And it
Exactly.
was just like, that wasn't something. Yeah, like Sonia Deville, she made it very open.
Yeah.
Like, she wore like that white gear with rainbow on it. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Finally, she was allowed to, like, Jake Atlas as well on NXT. Like, that was a big one for me. And then you get people here in the UK like Neon Cassius, you get Visage, Brad Slayer. Me and Brad Slayer are really good friends. I'm really good friends with Visage as well.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realize there was such a community until, I want to say, like a year ago. So to be part of that group as well, and then people actually come up to me and say, "Oh, you're gay and a wrestler. That's incredible."
And it's important as well.
So it's really important. Like, I'm also very big on like more BAME representation in
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching your podcast last week with JPR. Love JPR. I
Big up
met him
JPR.
actually last year at a Rumble.
Yeah.
I love JPR. I met him at a Rumble. I want to say December of 2019. I think he came with like a group of 6, maybe, from like Fight Factory. I didn't know anyone else from there.
Yeah.
He was the only one that actually came up to me and shook my hand, which I thought was great, because, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like intimidating to walk into a locker room with people you don't know. And then I was working through a spot with someone I was working with in the Rumble, and his music comes on, and I'm proper like jamming to it, because it's like, bro, this music's sweet. And
Yeah.
he's like looking at me, like, he looks at me like, oh, it's my song. I was like, right, I don't buy it, I don't rent it, I'm a rent to own. This song was just I'm a rent to own. This song
Yeah.
is great. So that was my first interaction with JPR. Ever since then, we've been like really good friends.
Yeah. That's
So
sick,
to see him so outspoken on Black Lives Matter and like more black representation in wrestling, I'm all for that, because it's the same case with like LGBTQ. There are a lot of us,
Yeah.
but are we represented enough? Absolutely not. Which
Yeah.
is what
Exactly.
Pride Pro has done for us.
Yeah. And
So I really hope to see something like that, but for like all Black, Asian, or minority ethnic people in the
Yeah.
UK, because that would just top it off for me.
No, it's dope because even I was even gonna say like even growing up, like just representation in terms of like sexuality, um,
Mm.
ethnicity. It's like for me in terms of wrestling, my first exposure in terms of like LGBTQ plus was the whole Bill and Chuck story and them having Rico as their personal stylist. So for me, that was like my first insight to like what it actually is. And then obviously now looking back, it's like that's beyond crazy to, and even people like Goldust, it's like it's beyond crazy that they've got people who don't identify with this group to now have them acting as if they are. And it's like, wow, why does stuff like this have to be, why does like Eric Bischoff says, why does this kind of controversy have to be the fact that it creates cash? For me it was wild. And it's like as
Yeah,
time has gotten on,
like,
they've allowed like a lot of gay or bi or lesbian wrestlers to allow their sexuality to be their gimmick. And it's like you look at the likes of like Tony Atlas, Sonya Deville, like we don't look at them because they identify as LGBTQ plus. We look at them because we identify them as great wrestlers. So I mean, hopefully moving forward, we're able to like
yeah,
look at people beyond
like
their
the
sexuality and
whole thing with
ethnicity.
like Goldust. I enjoy watching Goldust.
Oh, I loved Goldust.
Yeah, like I enjoy watching Goldust. But like how they painted him in a way that was so like, you know, this like sexual deviant, and that it, and like how he was male doing it to other males, it kind of painted us in a way like negative. Like
Oh, exactly.
you might see it as a moneymaker, but like in society, it's like dangerous,
Yeah.
which is why you could be LGBTQ identified and heal, but don't let the whole sexuality and the sexual, gimmick be the reason why they're hated. Like um, the whole Mandy and Sonya storyline. How you know, obviously it kind of was painted in a way that Sonya wanted to have Mandy to herself. It's very like you say, it's controversial. Like oh, you know, Sonya's lesbian, so she just wants Mandy all to herself. And then it's just like, oh, Sonya's a psycho. It's just like it kind of like just paints it in a way where it's like, demonizing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think for me, it just got to a point where it felt like these are people like, that's what I was so happy when Darren Young came out, because this is for the first time in a long time, we can now look at someone, they don't have a character where we look at them and just suspect, oh, that person is gay. Like we just look at Darren Young as just any other person that's just on the roster, and he's having great moments on the roster. He's having funny moments with Titus O'Neil. The fact that he opened up and came out, for me, it was kind of like, oh, this is courageous. This is probably gonna, set ablaze to more people being able to come out and just being able to be themselves. And then we've got the likes of Tony Atlas, we've got Anthony Bowens in AEW, we've got a whole plethora of people that are just able to be themselves and not have to allow their character and their gimmick to be defined by who they are as a person. Because outside of wrestling, like we're all human at the end of the day. So why does it take
Exactly.
why does it take for this wrestler to be gay for them to have a gimmick that now makes them gay? It's like similar to like Mustafa Ali. He's an Asian person, but he hasn't got that typical Asian foreigner gimmick. So it's just a matter. I feel like with time, wrestling is going to get to a point where the whole foreigner gimmick, the whole sassy, because I'm gay, I have to act gay. Like, no, that's not what it is. Like, I feel like we're way past that now. And now we're looking at wrestlers for their ability, for them to be able to entice the crowd. For me personally, even when I saw your entrance, I'm not looking at you thinking, oh, this is a gay guy be doing this. For me, it's like, this guy's a prick. And you know what I'm saying? This is someone that's making me feel the way I feel because they're doing something well. So that's literally it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like the whole thing with Mustafa Ali as well. I see his Twitter all the time. I don't know if you do, but like some of the comments he gets on Twitter is like
crazy.
Dude, this guy is like the way that people associate where he comes from to terrorism is like I don't understand why people do that. Like it's very hard to put myself in a mindset of someone who thinks that way. Like I don't I can't hate anyone based on what they are, because that's just what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
I will judge someone how they are to me
Yeah.
and how they are to other people. Like, if you're a nice dude, perfect, join in, whether you're gay, straight, bi, transgender, Christian, Muslim, any religion, any sexuality, any race. If you're a nice person to me, perfect. But how people target Mustafa Ali because of like where he comes from to terrorism, it's just like, that's also a mission of mine in wrestling, is like create, like, you know, just like love people for what they are, you know, like don't just hate someone because they are something that is, you know, foreign to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Like, if it's like don't alienate it, like teach yourself about it. And like,
that's literally it.
At the same time, teach yourself about it, but don't always associate that with that person, because, you know, they could, you know, Christians are always supposed to be like these lovely, caring people, when really I've met Christians who are not really that nice. But I wouldn't say that they're not nice because they're Christian. I would say that they're not nice because they're just simply not nice. However,
yeah, exactly.
You get Christians who are nice, but I don't associate that with them being Christian. I associate it with them being nice,
exactly.
because they are nice. Like, you can hate Mustafa Ali because you don't necessarily like his wrestling. You know, you're entitled to that opinion, but for where he comes from and what religion he might follow, or maybe he doesn't follow, then I just don't see why you should watch wrestling, or watch anything for that matter.
Exactly. I mean, I'm just under the impression that me and my friends speak about it all the time. I just feel like majority of wrestling fans have the opinions they have. One, because they're ignorant, and two, they just tweet all day because they wouldn't say it to any of these people's faces at the end of the day. I feel like what it is, it's just an attention-driven thing. Like, a lot of the people, I don't think they dislike these people. I just think they want a reaction. And then once they've gotten their reaction, it's like, oh, this person, so-and-so is giving me attention. So-and-so's added me. So-and-so has mentioned me in a tweet. So,
yeah,
I mean, I just feel like majority of wrestling fans, a lot of them are lost. And
yeah. Like, there are a lot of wrestlers I don't like, but it's nothing to do with like who they are. It's just that maybe their wrestling doesn't, you know, interest me.
Yeah.
Like, people are very much into like people like Santos Escobar, people like Finn Balor. I'm not big on those types of people. Like, Finn Balor's good, but he just doesn't really interest me to watch full match of his.
Yeah.
Like, someone who I've been watching, like from his Evolve stuff to his recent stuff on NXT, is in fact Leon Ruff.
Big up Leon Ruff. He's sick. Absolutely sick.
Oh. Yeah. I love Leon. Like, watching him on NXT this Wednesday, like winning the North American title, I was just like, this is it. This is where it starts. And like, I saw a lot of like comments about that as just like, ugh, Leon Ruff on the NXT North American title. I'm here like, Leon Ruff title.
Exactly.
But that was so unexpected.
Oh, I didn't expect it either. Honestly, did not expect it. But I mean, for me, I've always been one of those people where I like to expect the unexpected. So even when someone like Jinder Mahal won the WWE title, as much as it wasn't a great reign, for me, I'm always a fan of them trying something different. We
don't talk about Jinder Mahal winning the title. We don't talk about that, Delboy.
I loved it. As much as the reign was shit, but I loved it because it's like, it's something different. And as us as wrestling fans, we always call for something different. Let's give this person a shot, or let's push this person. And then when we finally do it, it's like, oh, nah, he's crap. And I mean, granted, it was crap, but they tried, innit? So, I mean,
yeah.
But I'm happy that Leon Ruff is in the North American title. I feel like with all the work he'd done during the early COVID days in WWE, like the no fan era, and he was jobbing, he was putting on decent matches as well on 205 Live. I was happy to see him win the title, and I mean, if you work hard, you're gonna get rewards in it. So It's proper sick, man.
Absolutely.
Proper sick.
Like,
Just
that, like, Leon Ruff is just proof that, you know, think like a few months ago, like at the start of the pandemic, he was just like jobbing out to like Aleister Black, he was jobbing out to Sheamus, he was just like jobbing on NXT 205 Live, and then out of nowhere wins the title straight off the bat.
Exactly.
Especially with one of NXT's like pillars of NXT, Johnny Gargano. Just to win it off of someone like Johnny Gargano and give it to someone like Leon Ruff, who hasn't really built a reputation like Johnny Gargano. It's just like, that is just proof that hard work actually pays off.
Exactly.
If you let it.
That's literally it. So we're on the same page with that one. 100% agree. 100% agree. Just to round things off, I like to do something called set the scene. So this time around, I'm going to be the general manager and I'm going to pick the match for you. You just have to pick the opponents. So let's say it is the main event of SummerSlam. I love SummerSlam's one of my favorite pay-per-views. So it's main event SummerSlam. You're in a triple threat match. Who are your two opponents, and what title are you fighting for?
Oh,
it can be anyone, any promotion, any title in the world.
Okay, one of them has to be my favorite wrestler of all time, Kaylee Ray.
She's sick.
I love Kaylee Ray.
She's proper sick.
And then I really want a match with Mad Cat because I see his Twitter and I see Mad Cat's Twitter. And it's just like, if this dude's good on Twitter, let's have him at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And probably Kaylee Ray's got the NXT UK title. Let's have it for that, shall we?
Yeah, that would be sick. I think Mad Cat, I remember the first time I watched him wrestle, it was probably like 2-3 years ago. It must have been at Rev Pro. And just his character alone, I was like, I'm sold. And he's going to make it far. It's just a matter of potentially of what he chooses to do. And then now started like the keyboard warrior and trolling and stuff. And I said, yeah, he's going to piss off everybody. And it's going to work for him.
I mean, did you see what he did with Jonathan Gresham?
Oh,
I was like, bro. I was just like, watching Mad Cat's Twitter is probably a pastime throughout this lockdown.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's been one of my highlights for Twitter.
Like legit, when he gives out the certificates, Forgotten 2, I'm like,
he's won.
I'm just like,
you can't argue with him.
Just go ahead.
You can't argue with him because you're the only one that's going to come. You're going to have a headache after. So. Yeah,
when he messaged Donald Trump about him being a dumb baby, I popped so much for it. Like some of the things he does and says, it's just like, be careful.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like.
Yeah.
But like some of the things that he actually posts is actually really hilarious, and like I would like to work someone like Mad Cat because he's built like me. He's like a praying mantis.
Yeah.
But the dude is a good talent.
Yeah,
like the dude's a good talent, and like you know, represent the skinny boys.
Yeah.
You know, all that.
Yeah, for real, man.
So Kaylee Ray and Mad Cat, triple threat, do it.
Wicked.
Let's go for it. Make it happen, Delboy.
I'm gonna try and make it happen for you, man. This has been a sick interview, man. Honestly, I've properly enjoyed myself. Would you like to let the people know your socials?
This. On Twitter, it's Andrews BritRes, simple. And then on Instagram, it's Riley_wrestling02.
Wicked. Man, this has been a sick interview. Hope you guys tune in next week. This has been In The Know With. Big thank you to Riley, The Obsession Andrews. And thank you guys. See you soon. Bow.